Good afternoon. I'm Owen Preventure for Derry Community Television. Today we're broadcasting live from our downtown studios to bring you this special public affairs program. From the entire DTV staff and team of volunteers, we thank you for tuning in and welcome you to this special public affairs presentation, Candidates Forum 2015. We're delighted to bring you this opportunity to get to know those amongst us who are willing to commit to represent us as Derry moves forward through some very interesting and challenging times. First, a bit about how the program will proceed, and then we'll get right into meeting our candidates. We have here in studio the 4 candidates vying for 2 separate seats on the Town Council. Following our time with these candidates, we will present you with taped statements from candidates running for trustee positions in town. After a 2-minute introduction from each candidate, I will ask questions, and candidates, you will have 2 minutes to respond. When it's time to conclude this segment, you will each have 1 minute for closing statements. With that, now let's get to know the candidates. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Running for councillor at large, we have the incumbent, Ms. Phyllis Ketsakoris, and her opponent, Mark Flattez.
How you doing?
And running for the District 1 seat, we have Maria LaBelle.
Hello.
With Richard Tripp.
Good afternoon.
All right, we'll start off with our introductory statements, and Ms. Ketsakoris, we'll start with you. You have 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Channel 17 and 23 for putting this on. It's a great thing for the public. I'm running for Town Council. I am, at the present time, a councillor at large, and I hope to, continue on. I have been a resident of Derry for the past 50 years. I guess my name has been on the ballot for about 30 years. I think I first started off on the budget committee, which the town had many years ago, and then worked our way up. I'm the mother of 3 children and 10 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. And I love Derry. I love the people in it, and I'm really happy to serve. Thank you very much.
Mr. Flattez.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Mark Flattez. I'm running for councillor at large. I currently serve on 2 committees in the town of Derry. I serve on the Planning Board as well as the Energy and Environmental Committee. I believe in lowering the taxes, growth and development of the community, and the transparency in government. A lot of my ideas you may hear today, and others you may wish to ask me offline or in some cases. My phone number is area code 603-247-8845 if you have any questions. And I thank you, and I thank Channel 17 and 23 for having me here today.
Ms. LaBelle.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria LaBelle. Been in Derry for about 15 years now. Enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. I look forward to hopefully representing everybody and sharing my opinions and ideas. And this is nerve-wracking. I think that's it for now.
And Mr. Tripp.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Tripp. I'm a Vietnam veteran, having served aboard the U.S. Enterprise in the Tonkin Gulf. As such, I'm no stranger to serving my country. I've served Derry as an alternate on the Planning Board and currently the Conservation Commission. I also attend, in person, not watching on TV, most of the Town Council meetings. I work at BA Systems as an engineer, even though I don't have an engineering degree. People ask me, how is this possible? I say, well, when I was 7 years old, in 2nd grade, they taught me how to read. This is a skill I continue to use as it gives me the ability to make informed decisions. I mentioned earlier that I attend most of the Town Council meetings. Unfortunately, I always see the same people in the audience. I believe America's type of government requires an involved citizenry at all levels to ensure that proper decisions are being made. Being involved is something I strive to do and why I'm running for Town Council. So what's wrong with Derry? My property taxes in 1998 were $5,600. My taxes in 2014 were $8,100. That's an increase of 45% in 16 years. Is this something to be expected? I don't think so. I live in the same house, and although people tell me it's worth more, I don't believe it. Apparently the town believes it, though, because my taxes are higher. Cutting the town's operating costs is one way to lower taxes, but keep in mind that the town council only controls a third of the town's expenses. The Board of Education, controlling the other 2/3, does not appear to be inclined to cut their costs. I suspect that last comment is akin to poking a hornet's nest, and I may regret it, but it's the truth, and you can quote me. Having said that, cutting costs are not the only viable option. I believe that the way out of the conundrum is to increase,
That would be time. Okay,
I guess I'll have to
I'm sure we'll
use
be
the
able to
last
cover more
in my last minute.
as we move forward through the questions here. So we're going to start wide, if you will, and move in with a focus. Let's talk about your vision for Derry. Let's think 20 years in the future. Paint us a picture of how you want to see our community during that time. We'll start with you, Ms. Getsikors.
20 years from now, I wonder who will be around. The vision for Derry for 20 years from now would be, I think, the growth of Derry. We're in the process now of bypass 28 opening up for industry, not industry, but for businesses. And I think that's the growth that we need. We have to bring businesses to Derry. Derry is lacking, a lot of money from businesses going elsewhere. And I think it's important that they realize that Derry has so much to offer and to please look towards the Derry.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Flattes.
20 years from now, I would like to see Derry grow and develop. I believe we have a strong cultural background. At one time, we were Space Town, I believe was what the town was called. And we want to stay going boldly where no man's gone before us. And I believe this town has the capability through the growth and development of business, fostering our future leaders' growth and development. I believe we can really come out on the top of the scale.
Nice. Thank
Thank you.
Ms. Lavelle.
Hi. 20 years from now, I would love to see a bustling downtown. That would be really fantastic to have every storefront filled and people coming from other communities to shop here. People coming from other communities to want to live here because, we finally get our taxes hopefully under control. Those are the things that I would really like to see, and that's what I envision for the future.
Mr. Tripp.
Well, as Phyllis said, part of the problem we have in Derry is we're basically a community city. And we have very little commercial and industrial base, which places the majority of the tax burden on the residential. I was on the planning board when we were putting the medical facilities on Sonito. This has worked out really well. I believe that what the town council is doing now on bypass on 28 is part of the solution. What we need to do is to move away from this bedroom community and become a community where people work and live here and have a broadened tax base to cut the taxes of the residential people. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, very nice. So, as you move forward, and if you are indeed the one that gets the seat and move forward, when you bring your vision to the council, how will you approach issues that seem to be deadlocked? How will you work with others whose direction or views may be in opposition to what your vision is? Actually, we'll go in round robin fashion. We'll start with Mr. Flattes.
Okay, the vision of Derry that I have is for the growth and development of the community. Certain things that I would do or try to work with the council on doing and persuading the other members is, say, taking George Sioris and have him handling economic development and growth, taking Elizabeth Robidoux, promoting her up to the planning, in charge of the planning department, working with the Chamber of Commerce and the Small Business Administration, as well as representatives from SCORE to bring business into it. Some quick changes that I could do, real quick, would be is to take a look at the municipal procurements that are going out both in the town and in the school. And by working together, write proposals that require certain businesses that are going to be dealing in commerce with the town to have a retail or an office space in the town. It's automatically going to drive growth instead of taking money out. And a lot of businesses in today's communities with today's RFPs will do that. And working with the Chamber of Congress and small business, as well as SCORE, we should be able to bring in some growth of some small businesses right off the bat.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Ms. LaBelle.
Working with others, I would like to believe that if elected, working with the council and other members of the town, that everybody has the town's best interest foremost, and that they're not working for a personal, for their personal gain. If I were to disagree with somebody, I think everybody has validity in what they're trying to offer the town. Try to find that one thing that I can hook onto that's of common interest between the two of us, and work from there. And I think that everybody has something good and honest to offer.
Very good. Thank you. And Mr. Tripp?
Tough problems. Well, the toughest problem that I see now is we have people that have interest in projects that they want funded. Unfortunately, the funding isn't there, and there seems to be very little compromise going on. It's either my way or the highway. Once again, going back to what the town council is doing now, I think growing the commercial and industrial base is the solution because, like I said, funding is the issue. I believe that the school, the programs they have are necessary and warranted. Unfortunately, we're kind of living on a budget that we can't afford to pay for. So, as they say, it's not a spending issue, it's a revenue issue. And that's what I would work for, to grow the tax base. Thank you.
Good. Okay, very good. Ms. LaBelle, we'll start with you with this question.
Sure.
This is a critical time for Derry in terms of planning and setting a trajectory for the direction of our town. Would you support initiatives to make it easier for busy residents to be informed and to participate more in the process? Perhaps a PR campaign or updated social media presence, updated website, etc., to make it easier for busy folks who do want to be involved. But we all know how life can run away with our time. What are some initiatives you would take to ease and streamline resident participation in our government process? Ms. LaBelle.
Some of the initiatives, well, like you mentioned, websites are great. Everybody's so connected these days with the internet. The Derry website is wonderful. More, maybe a residence page on that to post things that are important to different districts. Flyers, mailings, those are all great things to bring awareness to people, to encourage them to get involved, to keep them up to date on the issues. There is, there's so many ways that people could be kept informed, and those are just a few.
Mr. Tripp, you're next.
I was talking with Phyllis before this started off about how I attend most of the town council meetings, and unfortunately, I see the same people there all the time. The problem I see in America as a total is that people rely on other people to do their governing for them. But then they They don't. They're not happy with it, but they're not involved. I would say, I would encourage people to attend the town council meetings. Do this in person. You have a chance to talk and answer and comment about what's going on. I attended the school deliberative session. I think the school board was quite surprised when everyone showed up. I think that's a step in the right direction. You know, the town doing more things for people is not the answer. People need to take care of themselves. They have to get involved by themselves. They need to do something besides sit and complain. And by more active participation in attending the planning board meetings, attending the town council meetings, the school board meetings, that's the answer in my mind. Thank you.
Ms. Katsoukaris, I apologize. The Robin didn't make it all the way around last time.
That's
if
all right.
you'd like, we can adjust the time and you can address both
Well,
questions.
I'll address this one because I think this is important. There's several ways for people to be informed on what's being happened. We have several newspapers, Derry News, Nutfield News, Union Leader, Lawrence Eagle. They all cover the news of Derry. We have Channel 17, we have Channel 23, and that's all the news that, that's available. All the meetings are open. If people want to come and ask questions and find out, what's happening, so that I think there's several ways for people to be informed. And I'm always happy when a lot of people come to the council meeting. I love it when they ask questions and get involved, and that to me is the way that people can be informed and involved in the town. Thank you.
Mr. Flates.
I've already been on record as saying that I believe the town website needs improvement. If you go and look at any municipality which is thriving right now, their websites are completely tailored different than ours. That would be one of the first things that I would have Mr. Sioris do, as well as meeting with the chamber, is I would instruct him or ask that he be instructed to meet with the people here at Channel 17, Channel 23, and develop a marketing campaign, as well as with people from the Chamber of Congress, to market Derry. One of our greatest problems is we're not marketing. We're not showing our worth and our value to the people outside of Derry that could bring business into it. Thank you.
Thank you. So sometimes it can get a little tricky, as we all have the goal of economic development. Sometimes there are unforeseen or other events that can happen. As of right now, last week, plans for an alternative treatment center in Derry to dispense medical marijuana for therapeutic uses remains active. The developer of this project is waiting on his application from the Department of Health, but would like to locate here. Do you support medical marijuana alternative treatment center coming to Derry? Mr. Tripp?
That's an interesting question. I'm not a supporter of the use of drugs in any fashion, but that seems to be the lifestyle that a lot of people have chosen. The use of marijuana for medical treatment is something that I have been told is very effective. So I would say I would support that, in that it would be a revenue base in addition to helping out people in the town that are suffering from pain and things of that nature. Thank you.
That's a very important thing, and it's a very interesting question. This came before the New Hampshire legislators, and it came before us several times. It was always voted down, but this year it was voted to support it and to allow medical marijuana to be used only for the purpose of, helping the people that are sick. Derry, there's a business in Derry that has applied for permission to sell it. I'm all for it. It's going to go someplace, and if we can have it in Derry, under control, watched, the state has to come down and okay this, and I think between the state and the police department, there shouldn't be any problems, and I support this.
Very good. Mr. Flates?
Medical marijuana facilities is naturally something that's of a controversy to the public. Okay? I believe that the government is close enough on ways right now to regulate the use and the taxation of the product. I support bringing the facility to Derry because it represents what I've said before. We're Space Town. We're going to go boldly where nobody's gone before us, and we are going to be able to regulate it, control it, and enforce those regulations and controls. It is going to be a tough road, and I understand this controversy, and we'll go down that road together and get right through it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. LaBelle?
I do support medical marijuana. I believe the studies that it helps a lot of people who are fighting illnesses. It's being successfully, it's successful in other states. I think it also is good for it to come to Derry because it's another business, another tax revenue. I think that would be great.
Okay, very good. Moving on, let's go downtown. The Central Business District. There are concerns among residents, and I have heard on record council members, concerns about the appearance of certain areas of town, particularly ones adjacent to or in the Central Business District. Would you support any kind of, let's say, a modest short-term property tax incentive in certain zones for facade improvements and or some sort of occupancy timeline to try and motivate the property owners to get these vacant spots downtown filled, which might act as a double-edged sword for not only attracting business, but making Derry attractive? And what are some practical and timely steps you would take to beautify downtown? And we are,
the downtown has been an issue for many years. We have to realize that a lot of these businesses are not owned by people in Derry. They're out-of-state people. Some of them are in California and Florida and Texas, and they don't care what the downtown looks like as long as they get their rent. So that's one of the big issues and the problems, I think, of the downtown area. But I'm all for fixing it up, straightening it up, helping them, the businesses in the downtown area as much as we can. We've got to support them, and we have a lot of great businesses, small little shops that are opened up. But as I say, absentee landlords, I think, is one of the biggest problems we have in the downtown area.
When you get into cutting taxes in an area or in particular into a particular business zone, it can be a very tough decision to make. First of all, I would have an examination done to see if perhaps by using an aggressive media and advertising campaign, if I could not fill those vacancies by other means. The last thing we want to do is give tax cuts or tax credits. What we want to do is to work very effectively with the chamber, with our economic development person, like I said, which would, be George, and our planning department, which would be Elizabeth, to effectively motivate businesses to come to downtown. You can do it without cutting money. Thank you.
Ms. LaBelle.
Yes, I would consider tax cuts or benefits for the businesses in downtown Derry. Downtown Derry is kind of sad. Too many empty storefronts. I've seen businesses come and leave to go to another town for a number of reasons. I think Phyllis is right with the absentee landlords. They're not concerned. And I think the tax cuts for short term, I wouldn't like anything long term, a few years to help them out to beautify it, make it pretty, make it, give them an edge to attract people. Because other towns are, that's where everybody's going, is elsewhere.
Very good. Mr. Tripp.
Well, I thought about downtown, and the problem we have is that we're no longer a foot traffic type of society. We're a type of people where we get in a car and we drive to where we're going to go shopping. I know there is parking available downtown, but I don't foresee anything that would revitalize downtown, because society has moved on from that. It's like we don't have a railroad going through Derry anymore either. So I'd have to say I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Gotcha. Thank you. And we'll head south a little bit, down to Route 28 South, where the town has put some tremendous investment into sewer and water expansion. And there's a little bit of a schism right now between town planners and the council, eager to bring new commerce to the area, and the property owners along Route 28, who are a bit concerned of losing certain opportunities potentially in the future regarding residential in that area, residential development. The debate now is how the area will be zoned moving forward. Things are sort of in workshop phase right now between the residents and the planning department. So should residential development be allowed on Route 28 South? Mr. Flattez, you first.
Well, to begin with, I'm on the planning board, so I do not know. The jury is still out on that. I'm not sure that it would be feasible for me to comment on that at this second.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should residential, is that the question? Should residential be allowed?
Forward in any rezoning, should we allow residential?
Well, I mean, I would think the primary goal would be to bring commerce in, to lessen the tax burden on the citizens of Derry. I think there has to be some type of they have to work together, you know, the residential and the commercial, because the existing residents are there, and they're going to be affected by any commerce that comes in, and they need to be taken into consideration. Yeah, you'd have to have an open mind to the different ideas that could come forth from that.
Okay. Mr. Tripp.
I served as an alternate on the planning board, so I'm somewhat familiar with landowner rights. This is one of the things that is basic to our country, in that landowners have a right to develop their property and in a way that will serve them best. The town of Derry, though, also has a right to plan for its growth. And I believe that the town, having invested all the money that we have for water and sewer on 28, we have a right to demand that, or to legislate, I don't know what the proper term is, that this land be used for commercial and industrial development and not residential. Thank you.
Ms. Getz-Kors.
Thank you. The town has invested a lot of money on bypass 28 in the million, with the idea that it would be for commercial use only. The discussion now is as to whether or not we should open it up, the back areas, from what I understand, for homeowners to build. I think that has to be really thought of very seriously. I feel bad for people that own property that want to give it to their families, but that wasn't the intent when the money was put into the 28 bypass. The idea was for commercial development, to bring businesses in and to lower our taxes. So I think as far as opening it up to homeowners, I think we have to have a little bit more discussion on that before I would even consider it. Thank you.
Okay. The budget. Our town is unique, in a unique form of government, as we some of us may know. But for those that don't know, perhaps some of you with experience could clarify. Our form of government is one where the school budget is kept separate from the town operating budget. Our schools account for the largest segment of our town budget, nearly double all other expenses and services combined. The trend over the past decade for Derry has been a drastic reduction in enrolled students. The trend looks like it will continue in the foreseeable future. Do you support looking at ways that the council can have more say somehow, whether through something as drastic as changing our form of government or some sort of innovative hybrid way that we could chart a new path with working with the educational system? Would you support anything like that? I'm looking at that. Ms. LaBelle, I think it's your turn.
It's always a tough issue when it comes to the school board. And you're right, the taxes are, it's 2 to 1. Sometimes it's hard for, I would think they're so close and personal, the school board and the parents and the teachers and everything. It's really tough. I mean, it's so personal to them that perhaps in some areas of the school system, it may be beneficial for the council to be involved, to help them take a step back, to take a broader view of what is needed to bring the taxes back, within a reasonable amount. So yes, I think that, the council could, and the town could benefit from some, interaction.
Mr. Tripp.
I believe at the beginning of this, I said that part of the problem is the lack of involvement by most of the people who live in Derry in either the functioning of the school board or the town council. I believe that the town council is probably going to have enough on their plate that they can not get involved with the school board. I would recommend, once again, if people think this is important, that they go to the school board meetings and talk to the school board and tell them that they need to reevaluate their budget and look at what can be done to cut some of the cost. The town, current town council, they're looking to shave $2 off their portion of the budget. That's a lot of money. You know what? And it seems like this is systemic to the way America is. People that got their share of the pie don't want to share it with anybody else. So I would recommend that, once again, if people think this is important, that they go to the school board meetings, that they talk at the school board meetings, that they ask questions. I would do that myself, but unfortunately, the town council meetings and the school board meetings are on the same night. So, like I said, I would not recommend the town council expanding its sphere of influence.
Ms. Katsoukaris.
We all know that the schools are very important in Derry. Most of the people that move here come because of the schools. We have the best schools in the state of New Hampshire, the best teachers. Can we afford it is the next question. The tax rate for the school is double what the town's rate is. I could foresee in the future the town taking over the school board. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of convincing, but it's something that should be talked about. We've lost well over 1,000 students last year. There was talk of closing one of the schools in Derry. So maybe, I don't know if now is the time, but I think in the future or something, we have to sit down and talk and find out, should the town take over the budget of the school? It would be interesting. Thank you.
Mr. Fuentes.
Well, I love it. I'm the only counselor, I think, or running for counselor up here that is in a unique position. I have a daughter in the first grade in our school systems.
Okay.
And the school system is a very complex thing. However, it is a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. And currently, they're in a slump. They're not having as many students enroll. How do you correct that? Well, you go to some of these other municipalities, perhaps, that have overpopulation, and you look at bringing their students into your schools and providing that education for a fee. And in turn, that'll balance your budget and make you more profitable in your business. At the end of the day, you know, if you wanted to do a like hybrid type of deal in between the town and the schools, that's something that can be done, can be achieved. There's a lot of ways to do it in procurement and administrative cost reduction without any impact to children. And that's the thing people need to understand. And if the current administration of the schools cannot come up with a way to run a smarter, leaner business, whether it's through importing or smarter procurement, then unfortunately we are going to have to take a look at taking that business over and showing them how to get it done. Thank you.
All right. Those are some of the big issues that we face. Let's talk about some of the things that might be on your mind, or as you go out and talk with the residents. What are some of the things that you feel are not being properly addressed currently, aside from maybe some of the larger issues that have been with us for so long? Mr. Chip, let's start with you.
What are some of the issues that aren't being addressed? I get distracted by the issues that are being addressed. So I would have to say I don't know.
Ms. Gatz-Koris, anything you feel isn't being addressed as much as you would like?
I think a lot of things are being addressed. We have department heads that come before all these different meetings and explain things to the people. I think there's a lot of things that, you know, anything can be improved. I think they're doing a great job. I think the main thing right now is going to be the budget, how we're going to handle that, how we're going to see what's happening. They're talking about massive layoffs and that type thing. But I hope a question will come up in regards to that, because I have something very important to say about that. Thank you.
Mr. Fuentes.
Well, Phyllis, you do bring up a good point about the layoffs. You know, we've got people proposing layoffs on the council, and they didn't even put their name on the top of that plate to cut their own salary. Here it is, we're in the town of Derry. We have state reps. I believe a state rep earns what, Phyllis, $100 annually?
Yes.
And our
Plus
total...
mileage.
Oh, plus mileage.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
don't forget
Phyllis, I
that.
didn't want to take your mileage. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We got to get the whole picture out there.
Okay, so plus mileage, but we have a town council that makes, what, about $19,000 for all the town council?
19. Oh, no.
Well,
I
Phyllis,
think,
you make, what, $2,400 as a town councilor, right?
I didn't even realize that. I guess
Well, you see,
I'll
it'd be a
interest-
kind of a good idea if we knew what, you know,
Well, how much?
because the taxpayers are paying us. Shouldn't we know how much money we're putting in our little bank account from them?
Okay,
Oh,
so
Okay, sorry, didn't mean
that's
to.
okay.
But what I'm saying is I think we should put that up on the list as well as the cuts. You know, if you're going to cut their jobs and force them to be in a position where their kids could eat mac and cheese, you guys can eat mac and cheese too.
Okay, gotcha. Ms. LaBelle, anything being not addressed as much as you would like right now, or from anybody that you've spoken with around town?
I haven't really spoken to anybody around town, but one of the things I noticed on the Derry website was the union contracts. I think that's going to be a big issue, is the getting those ratified and getting that done, because I see that they're out of date by many years.
6 years.
Yeah, some
6
of
and
them.
7 years.
Yeah, they're quite old, and that needs to be addressed, and hopefully that can come to a resolution.
Okay. And yeah, let's come back to the budget. We have a directive was sent to our new town administrator, Mr. Galen, to go ahead and try and reduce the tax rate by $2.50. His department came back and said that might be a little bit too aggressive. Let's try again. So the town council went forward with a directive of a $2 rate decrease. Let's talk about that for a little. Let's just hear your views on how do you think, is that feasible in your mind? Is it right for the time right now? What are some ways that you could shave off that much from our next budget? And I think we're actually on Mr. Tripp for the round robin.
Actually, I think I got to go first last time, but I'll do it again.
Did
As with any budget, you can cut things. You just have to make a decision. If this is what the citizens of Derry decide is important, then I think the town council should do it. It's going to be tough because, as Mark and Phyllis says, there's going to be layoffs. So, but once again, if this is what the people truly want, then I believe this is what the town council should do. They should look, and I've done some research on this, and the town runs a very good town. The cost per person is the lowest in the area. But if this is, once again, like I said, if it's important, then they feel that the cutting of services is important, then we can do that because the town people have spoken.
Thank you. I would like the people to understand this $2 and $2 fee that the council, all the council said was, let's see what happens if $2 is cut or $2.50 is cut. It didn't say that we were going to support it. We wanted to know what it looked like if it was cut. They came back to us, the town administrator came back and told us, and that with $2 off, it would devastate the town. I would never support that. I do not support any layoffs of police or fire. I think there are first responders. If your house is on fire, you want them there within 3 minutes, not 10 minutes. And the same with the police department. I would never support getting rid of either. We've spent too much money invested in the police and the fire training, getting them ready for these jobs, and to lose them. In the police department, I heard that there's 2 officers that are going to leave because of the discussion. But please keep in mind that we never said we're going to do it. All we wanted to know is what happens if it does. And I certainly do not support a $2 cut or any layoffs in the police and fire.
Mr. Flattes.
Okay, first of all, let me say it so that it's out in public record. I am a member of Local 633 over in Manchester. I am a Teamster. Okay? I do not believe in cutting municipal services as far as they were projected to be cut. I believe that through smart procurement, streamlining business operations, working on economic growth and development, we can turn this around. I believe that we don't have to go out and, say, replace every position in the event that there is somebody has left. We can move around other people. Maybe if we have to, we could take a look at perhaps furloughs. But I wouldn't do any type of taking a look at that even until the town council moved forward on taking a look at doing some of their own in-house administrative reductions.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. LaBelle.
Oh, it would be great, yes, to be able to cut the taxes by $2, but I don't see how that could be possible. I wouldn't, if elected, I wouldn't think of layoffs as my first option. It would have to, you'd have to have an open mind and find creative solutions. Like Mark said, through attrition, as people leave, don't replace them. Cut different ways, but you have to go through that budget line by line to see where you could cut, and layoffs would be the last thing on my list. Definitely.
Okay. It's pretty much getting to the end of our time here. What we'll do is invite you to give us a 1-minute closing statement. And Mr. Flattes, we'll start with you. Let's start with you, Mr. Flattes.
Okay, once again, like I said, thank you, first of all, for watching this program, and 1723 for bringing me in here. I believe in lowering taxes, growth and development of the community, and transparency in government. My phone number is 603-247-2999. 8845 if anybody would like to reach out to me and ask me any more questions beyond what I've been asked here today. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today.
Ms. LaBelle.
Yeah, this was a great experience, and if elected, I would welcome the challenge of working with the council and the town to streamline the budget and hopefully get people more involved in the process. I think when people are involved in the process, they take more interest in it. And I welcome the challenge. I think it would be a great opportunity.
Mr. Tripp.
Once again, my name is Richard Tripp, and I said earlier I'm a Vietnam veteran, so I have experience serving my country. I've only lived in Derry for about 20 years, but I believe I've been more involved than most of the people who live here. I've served on the planning board, the Conservation Commission, and I speak my piece at the town council meetings regularly. I don't believe the town cutting costs is its only solution to the tax problem. The school board and the town both need to examine their budgets to see where costs can be cut. The town also needs to be more proactive in attracting business to cut the residential tax burden. And lastly, I need all of you to get out and vote. People often tell me their vote doesn't count. Well, let me tell you a story. The last time I ran for town council, I lost by 1 vote. So your vote does count. So I'm asking you, get out on March 10th and vote, and elect me your District 1 councilor. Thank you.
Ms. Caspar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm running again for councilor at large, and I ask for your vote and your support. I feel like I'm so blessed. I'm 80 years old. I've been on the ballot for many years. I'm a Eucharistic minister at St. Thomas, and I'm very active in the community, and I'm blessed with good health and energy, and I'd like to continue serving the people of Derry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all candidates. Now let's take a look at recorded statements from candidates running for other trustee positions in town.
Hello, my name is Charlie Zoller, and I'm asking for your vote so I may continue to serve as a Derry Public Library trustee. This year, there are 2 open seats and only 2 candidates. So why am I asking you to take your time to listen and to meet me? First, to remind you of the importance of voting in every election and to thank you for taking the time today. Second, to encourage you to seek out information about all the other candidates and all the issues that are on the March 10th ballot, not least of which funding for our schools. Third, I want to share with you why I consider it a privilege to be a Derry Public Library trustee. In doing so, I hope to encourage you to take advantage, or as the case may be, even greater advantage of our great community library, and to value our mission, which is to promote the free flow of information, to encourage lifelong learning, civic engagement, democratic values, and the appreciation of the breadth and diversity of history, culture, and wisdom. You may wonder or be curious why a library needs trustees. Well, trustees, of course, bear responsibility for our building, its resources, and the proper management of the library required by New Hampshire law, and also in accordance with the principles of the American Library Association. Trustees are like a board of directors for a company or a nonprofit organization. Library trustees, though, receive no compensation. We do hire the director, who in turn manages the staff and the day-to-day operations, but the trustees are responsible for changing and updating and approving policies and, very importantly, the annual budget. Why am I so proud to serve as a Derry Library trustee? First, because of our terrific staff, starting with our new director, Cara Barlow, whose top priority every day is to strive to serve our patrons effectively and congenially. They are constantly adding more programs, services, and the latest materials, often in new formats, and keeping up with ever-changing technologies. And they even provide training for patrons struggling with learning how to use their new electronic devices. And the staff, along with our trustees, are always finding ways to improve our services in thrifty and cost-saving ways. Do check us out on Facebook, and remember, you can access our catalog and many of our resources online, so you don't have to trudge through the snow. Second, I'm especially proud of our children's and young adult staff for their creativity and success in offering new and increasingly well-attended programs that meet the changing needs of our community, our young families, and our youth. Since libraries do not exist in isolation, they have reached out and developed collaborative relationships with our Derry Public Schools and with our public and private preschool teachers and homeschool families. Finally, because our trustees have acted in such a responsible manner, despite the addition of so many new programs, services, and resources, our budget has remained nearly flat for the past several years. So we have been excellent stewards for Derry taxpayers while providing the highest quality of libraries. So thank you for listening to my remarks today. Again, my name is Charlie Zoller. I would be pleased to have your vote so I may continue to serve as a Derry Public Library trustee. And I also urge you to vote for our other trustee candidate, Helen Evans, when you go to vote on March 10th. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Helen Evans, and I'm here on the ballot March 10th running for Derry Library trustee. And I would really like to talk about the library better than Helen Evans, so I'll mix it up a little bit. When I first came to Derry in 2009, I discovered the library as one of the town's treasures. Having come from a city environment, I really appreciated everything they had to offer. I approached the library both as a patron, as a teacher. I taught for 30 years. As a school librarian, I taught, retrained to become a school librarian, and as a grandma. And when you go into the Derry Library, you just are welcomed by all the professionals there. They're so well trained, they're so cordial, and the collections are fantastic, whether it's print, electronic, which we can access remotely, audio, visual, or their extensive program. They run programs for children, for teens, for adults. It can be astrology, it can be on the Civil War, it can be on healthcare, and all of these things are free. And so my goal is to join with the staff in the capacity of a trustee to work with Cara Barlow and to maintain this very long tradition of a wonderful free educational resource. And I would certainly be remiss if I didn't ask you, do you have a current library card? And if you do not have a current library card, please come in and register. If you do have one, come in, use it often. You will be well rewarded for your effort. It is a wonderful, wonderful educational resource. And so I thank you for listening. And again, it's Helen Evans, Derry Library trustee on the March 10th ballot. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jim Webb. Many of you may know me as your state representative representing Derry. And currently I am a trustee of the trust fund, and I am running for re-election as a trustee of the trust fund. It's a 3-year term. The trustee of the trust fund is responsible for kind of investing the town's capital reserves and that sort of stuff into different investments to try to get a maximum return on the money. And it's kind of a job that you would need a continuation of sorts. So that's why I think it's important to give somebody many years to do this. I'm looking to get reelected, and I know I can do the job. I've done it in the past. I've been on the county's executive committee. I've worked on the county's finance committee, and I have worked on many different committees at the county level as well as the state level, and I am currently the vice chair of the Fish and Game Committee up at the State House. So with all that said, bottom line is I'm looking to get reelected as your trustee. So I would appreciate if you'd consider voting for me in the election in March. I believe it's March 10th. And thank you very much.
And that will conclude our Special Affairs program for today, Candidates Forum 2015. We thank you again for tuning in and remind you to mark your calendars and vote March 10th. Once again, I'm Owen Provencher for DTV. Goodbye for now.